Titans fans. It's just me today. It's just me tonight. Tighten up from Tennessee Titans Weekly. I'm Jacques. My co-host is actually at the game, so I'm going to give everybody some time to pile on in the room. Tighten up. Shout out to the Titans for getting that victory. But, hey, this is going to be a good one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just waiting for everybody to pile on in the room here, and then I'll go ahead and get started. We can talk about this win. Great stuff tonight, man. Mostly great stuff. Most definitely. Right. Some more people in this chat, and then we'll get this thing cracking, man. All right. So let's go ahead and get this thing popping. Everybody come on in the room. Shout out to the Titans. Shout out to the freaking Tennessee Titans. They didn't think we can do it, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't think we can do it. And we did it. And we freaking did it. We beat the Miami Dolphins. We beat the freaking Miami Dolphins in Miami. We got our first road victory. So shout out to the Titans. Shout out to Mike Vrabel. Shout out to Will Levis. Shout out to them. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick this thing off and talk about how we won this game. I want to give a big, humongous shout out. I know the chat might be delayed, so I'm still waiting for folks to come in. But we're going to, like I said, I'm going to give my thoughts on how we won this game, why we won this game, and everything. So, one, I want to give a huge shout out to the defense. Okay, we're going to talk about the offense here in a minute. But I want to give a shout out to the defense because we've been giving the defense a lot of smoke this season, rightfully so, with a lot of things that they've been done. But they've been able to keep us in many of the games that we should win or we got close to or we almost won and so on and so on. And tonight to hold Tyreek Hill and the speedy Miami Dolphins offense to what we were able to do was amazing, okay? It was amazing. It actually reminded me of the old school Titans football that we were playing before we went on this little losing streak, right? One thing that I noticed that they were able to do with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and the speedy offense, our chain, they were able to keep them sideline to sideline. When you have a speedy team like you have when you playing the Miami Dolphins or you playing any speed, the trick to it is to keep them sideline to sideline. Don't let them beat you north and south. And the Titans did a tremendous job on defense with doing that tonight. And I know, again, this is the week of the losers beating the top teams because this happened yesterday with the teams beating teams that they're not supposed to beat. But, again, amazing victory. So, again, shout out to the defense. Now, we did have some blunders. We did with the turnovers and the penalties and everything. But, again, I want to give a big shout out to the defense. Shout out to the special teams, okay? Shout out to the special teams. We fired Craig Ackerman. Came in, we brought in a new guy, and we had some good and we had some bad. The good was we was able to block a field goal. The bad was Gar, whatever his name is, fumbled the ball, okay? So it's still the special team is a work in progress. We got to get that together. I don't know if the Titans will ever get that together, but we'll eventually try to get that together. So shout out to them and shout out to the people that's coming into the chat and everything as well. So shout out to y'all. But again, man, shout out to the Titans, man. Again, if you're just coming on to the show, I'm giving the defense a shout out, I'm giving special teams a shout out. Now, let me get to this offense, okay? Shout out to the offense. Shout out to Mr. 8 himself, Will Levis. I'm going to talk about Will Levis here for a minute. Now, Will Levis each game has done some, again, in my eyes, in my opinion, I know you got Titans fans that are putting them up here already. I'm a little bit more of a skeptic when it comes to you have to put in the work to really show me. Shout out to number 8. I'm going to say this is Will Levis's coming out game. To do it against a Miami defense with a great secondary and a great defense like they have, shout out to Will, man. He stood in there. He stood strong. He made the reads when he needed to make them. Yeah, he threw an interception. But, I mean, I can give him that, right? The Dolphins did their homework. They're like, hey, they run a lot of screen plays. So that was shout out to them on that. But I got to give Will's credit for standing in the pocket, making plays when he needed to, making the reads when he needed to, using his athleticism. Now, one thing I will say he needs to be careful of, he loves being physical. He's just like when they say compare him to Josh Allen, which I would say you can compare him to Josh Allen. You can physically, right? I'm not going to give him that because he still has to do certain – he has to get up to Josh Allen's status. The ceiling is there. But shout out to Will, man. Shout out to him from a perspective of he took the game over from a leadership perspective. And what I mean by he took the game over from a leadership perspective is when things broke down, when things started to look stale, he was still able to hold his head high, keep his emotions in check, and get the boys back on their horse, right? Man, for a minute there were two plays that could have cost us this game, right? It could have been the fumble on special teams and the second fumble by Will throwing it behind Derrick. And he knew he messed up. When I seen it, I said, okay, he threw it behind Derrick. He didn't throw it in front of Derrick. When you're throwing a pitch screen like that, you need to throw it in front, not behind. And that was on Will. But Will came back and he made it up for it. Shout out to D-Hop as well, man. D-Hop has been a great addition with this Titan squad, and he's been an amazing addition. Now, I want to go through some stats real quick, and I don't know if these are final stats, but let me refresh real quick. From what I see Will's 23 or 38, 326 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. That's a hell of a stat line, right? When's the last time Tannehill threw for 326 yards? And again, it's not consistent, right? Shout out to D-Hop for having 7 receptions, 124 yards. And I know those stats are probably static right now because the game is still coming to an end. But, hey, shout out to them, man. And shout out to Will and D-Hop on that connection that they have. It's just going to keep getting better when we add more weapons. Shout out to Tyjae Spears. Tyjae Spears is showing me why when I did my pre-draft. So it's Tennessee Titans Week. We usually do our pre-draft show. So shout out to my co-host, Hawk. He's not here at the moment, but we usually do a pre-draft show, and he was one of my guys I scouted. I scouted him probably maybe early February, early March, and everything that he's showing, his burst, his quickness. Yeah, his knees is missing an ACL or whatever, but Tyjae Spears is showing why we drafted him. He's a threat out of the backfield, and he can run the ball. So to have that combination of the rookies actually putting in work and showing what they've been able to do, it's an amazing thing. And again, this draft class is still – a lot is still out on this draft class, but it's tracking to be one of the Titans' better draft class of the past 4 or 5 years. So shout out to them. And again, I have polls. I've created some polls just to grade how our offensive line did, how did our defense do, and also how would you grade the quarterback? How would you grade Will Levis? Would you get him an A, B, C, D, F? In my opinion, and it's going to sound crazy, I'm going to give him an A. I'm going to give him an A for this game. I'm going to actually, to me, I feel like this was a good coming out game for him. And he showed a lot of growth and a lot of energy and a lot of leadership in this particular game. So it actually gets me excited to say, hey, okay, I'm excited for our future. I'm excited to where we can build around Will and try to get this thing where we need to go. So shout out to them, man. And again, shout out to the defense. Again, I'm going to give them another shout out because to hold the almighty high-powered Dolphins offense to 27 points and then to hold them to where you kept them at bay was amazing. It was pretty dope, man. It was pretty dope to see. And shout out to Mike Vrabel for getting the boys back to where they're prepared, back to where they are playing Titans football. And two, I don't think the Dolphins anticipated how physical the Titans were going to be. Usually the Dolphins are a finesse team, right? I'm not gonna say they're not a physical team because they play football, you physical, right? But there's a different physicality. And the Titans play with a lot of energy and physicality. And I would say this, but you have to lose. You ain't got really nothing to lose, right? You can lose the game. Now we were 4-9. Now we're 5-9. So again, I think from a Dolphins perspective, I don't think they were prepared. And I thought they think that it was going to be an easy and be a breeze. This is the NFL, man. Anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday. It just happens, right? So shout out to them again. Shout out to the Titans for getting that dub tonight. Our first a road victory, right? We haven't had a victory on the road this season. This is our first one. So shout out to them and getting them all. And also it gives the team confidence. I've seen great stuff from Harold Landry. Harold Landry's getting back. I feel like he's getting his groove back. He was one of our sack leaders last year, the year before he got hurt. Jeffrey Simmons didn't play, but shout out to the defensive line, man. They played with energy. They played with tenacity. They did their thing, man. So shout out to them. Again, D-Hop killing it, right? We still need that second option. And of course, we'll get that second option in the offseason. Improvements, I will say one thing that I will say that we need to take away and we need to improve on this particular win and take to the next, to when we play Houston, is put together a complete package, right? To me, I feel like we're still inconsistent when it comes to our play. And I know we're still learning, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, receivers, offensive line, getting used to everybody. But we need to be more consistent when it comes to playing a complete package in a complete game. And I know when you get your confidence, you win against an opponent like you beat a 9-win team. Okay, shout out to the Titans for that. You can take that into Houston. You can take that into our next couple of games. I'm not saying we're going to make the playoffs or anything, but just take that positive and just continue to grow on, right? I'm not saying it's not out of reach or nothing, but keep growing on it. Another thing that I noticed tonight, and like I said, I got polls in the chat, people, so if you want to go ahead, man, how did the offensive line perform? I'm going to go there. Honestly, man, I'll give the offensive line, I think they did a pretty decent job. From what we were able to see throughout the whole year, offensive line has been piss poor. Excuse my language, but they've been trash, okay? And the offensive line tonight really did a great job. They did a good job. Still had some cleanup to do, but they did a real good job. I think Duncan was at left, and I think Raiders was at right. Now, they still need to clean up the penalties, but you see when you give Will Levis time, he can go through his progressions and he can go through his reads. He can do his thing. Shout out to Tim Kelly. I got to give a shout out to Tim Kelly as well for calling a decent game. He called a pretty decent game. So I've been screaming for the past, I'd say about 2 to 3 weeks for the route combinations to be more spread out and to run a lot more slant routes, right? Because D-Hop excels in the high, low, mid. What I mean by that, he can catch high, he can catch low, he can catch mid. And when you get him in those deep slants, D-Hop can act a fool. And you've seen it tonight. That was what was killing the Dolphins' almighty secondary, right? That was what was kicking their butt. They was tearing them up. So, again, shout out to the Titans, man, for getting that victory. I want to say we might still be in playoff contention, and we might be. I don't know. We'll see. And I know it's a late game, so I don't know if too many people going to be in the chat, but I see, Kendall, is it Kendall Goss 23? Xander, hey, tighten up. He says, is Levis up here? I'll get you in a minute because I'm going to get to the chop up here, and I might answer 2 or 3 questions and we'll get up out of here. Let me see. Skip says, Willis is that guy. Let him have a line and weapons. I was all for Willis running over Ramsey. Hey, that's one thing I will say I respect about him is Will Levis, man, he is physical, and he likes to play physical. The thing that scares me with him is he needs to be careful. Preserve your body, man. I know you want to run over people. I know you want to do what you do. Preserve your body and be careful. But, again, shout out to him and his toughness and his leadership. So, shout out to him. So, now, I'm going to get to this portion of our show. We call it the chop up. And, again, I know there's not a lot of people in the chat or whatnot, but it's all cool. So, Xander, we're going to really focus on your question. Tighten up. He says, tighten up. Is Levis our future quarterback? Again, if you're coming on to the show, earlier I said this to me was Will Levis's coming out game, okay, in my opinion. Yes, I will say Will Levis is our future quarterback. Now, the question is, how do you build around him, right? You can do it in free agency, but you have a hell of a lot of receivers that are coming out of this draft that we need to get one. What up, Engraving? Shout out to Engraving, man. He said, I love it. Thank y'all. Hey, appreciate it, man. Salute to y'all, because I know that helped the Ravens out. So, hey, shout out to you, Engraving. And it's just me tonight, folks. I know I usually have my co-host with me, but he had the privilege to attend the Miami game tonight. So, shout out to Hawk, man. I know you enjoy it. You deserve it, bro. Keep doing your thing, bro. We miss you. But I'm going to have to rock without you tonight, bro. But, yes, I do think Will Levis is our future. And, again, tonight was, to me, his coming out game. When you can do what he did tonight against that particular defense, you got you something. And he's doing it in his rookie year and his confidence. and he's just different, right? He has that it factor. Now it's on the Titans. It's on the Titans to do their homework and their due diligence to get this young man, one, some speed, and two, another playmaker on the outside on the opposite of D-Hop. We got to do that, right? We have to do that. We got to get another weapon besides Ntilikina Westbrook. We got to get another weapon besides, what's number 11's name? Chris Moore. We got to get some more weapons in here to where it gives Will more confidence to throw to other people. Because right now, his primary is D-Hop. Everybody else, you lucky you might get the ball. That just is what it is. So shout out to Will, man. And let's just keep hoping he trends, right? Because we know when the NFL gets film on you, they learn your tendencies. We learn what you do. But one thing that I noticed is he's toughness and he uses athleticism. He was able to run a little bit more too. So shout out to him on that. So most def. Let me see. I got some more folks in. We're in the part of our show to chop up. So if you got any questions you want to ask me, put them in the chat, and I'll definitely answer them to the best of my ability, and we'll go from there. So let me see. Tom Tawaski says, shout out Titans D, especially the defensive line. Yes, sir. Titans defense, man. Again, I put some polls in. I threw some polls out there. How well did the offensive line do? How would you grade the defense? Would you give them an A, B, C, D, F? And how did you think Will Levis did? Would you grade him an A, B, C, or D, or F? Now, I gave Will Levis an A. I did. Okay? And I know some people might not agree with that, but in my opinion, I think he gave an A performance, even with the interception he threw. Yeah, you had a janky read, but how are you able to march your team down the field? How are you able to keep your team composed with all the crap that's going around with the turnovers, the 2 turnovers that happened literally back to back? How do you keep your team focused? And I think Will Levis did a real good job. So shout out to Will Levis on that. And keep grinding, young man. Keep shooting to the stars because it's the only thing you can do, right? So shout out to them. And like I said, shout out to Engraving as well. And if you got any questions, man, throw them out there in the chat, and I most definitely will answer them. And again, ladies and gentlemen, how do y'all think the offensive line did? Throw it in the chat. Let me know. What do you guys think? You think the offensive line did a good job, decent job? What do you guys think? I think they did a decent job. I really do. I think they did a decent job. Now, again, these are games that prior to the Titans, I would say an off-focus period, we would win these type of games, and then we would lose the games that we're not supposed to lose, right? So I think the next thing is getting consistent. Let's get a consistent flow in a rhythm of playing a complete game, right? So let's get to that. I don't see any more questions. I know I'm gonna give. So I'm gonna say this: Derrick Henry. I think he only had 33 yards, I believe. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing the decline. No, I'm not gonna say the decline of Derrick Henry, but we're seeing the offense without Derrick. The future, right? Our future is looking a little different now, and I see the offense tailored to more of Will and Tyjae Spears. And that's the style of offense that I think we're going to see going forward. And you're getting a taste of what we're going to get a little bit of next year with more additions. I still think Treylon Burks needs to step up, but fortunately, I don't want to call Treylon Burks a bust just yet. So I want to give him some grace, but we'll see. We'll most definitely see. Let me see. Do we have any more questions out there? If you got any questions, man, like I said, throw them in the chat. Throw them in the chat. Let me check on the poll here. So we got 3 people that said the offensive line did. 1 person said the offensive line did so-so. 3 people said that the offensive line did good. I agree with those 3 people. I think they in my opinion, did a good job. I'll give the defense an A, man. I'll give them an A for what you had to deal with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, that speedy Dolphins offense, and that the trickery that they do. You did the best that you can do, and you did a tremendous job in my eyes. I graded Will Levis an A. I gave him an A. He's actually better than a lot of quarterbacks that's in the league now. I can go down the list. I'm like, he's better than him. So shout out to him on that. And you know that's crazy, Red Ninja. You're right. It was crazy how Henry got that 17-yard reception. He had to jump up there and get it, but that was the best catch I think I've seen Henry catch. Yeah, that's about the best catch I've ever seen him catch. I mean, shout out to him on that, man, and shout out to Will giving that, throwing to him that particular ball. But in the same breath, I'll say this: great play call, right? Because D Hop is cooking, right? So if it wasn't for D Hop on that play, because if you notice, Jalen Ramsey bit down and he was literally focused on D Hop. If he would have stayed with Henry, then that play wouldn't have happened. But he came down because D Hop commands so much attention that it allowed for Derrick to get in the flats and boom, just throw it. So great play call, and just shout out to D Hop as well to making the rookie comfortable, and shout out to us having an actual number one receiver. I don't know D Hop's stat line for this year yet, but I think he's broken a curse for us, and a curse of when we do acquire these old receivers like Julio Jones and Randy Moss when he was here, Andre Johnson, they tend to not produce. D-Hop has broken that curse, and he has done the inevitable, and he has produced. So shout out to D-Hop, man. I think he's tracking to like 700 yards, maybe. I have to look that up real quick. But shout out to D-Hop, man. I'm proud of them boys for going down there and getting the dub. I kept texting Hawk, and I told Hawk, I said, Hawk, I think we're gonna win this game. And I text somebody, I said, I think we got this in the bag. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with y'all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not impressed with the Dolphins. From what I'm able to see tonight, the Dolphins are a one-trick pony. Without Tyreek Hill, man, they ain't going to go too far in the playoffs, man. So Tyreek Hill better hope he's healthy. And they better bring something else out of that bag because it ain't looking decent. But, again, shout out to the Titans, man. So, if I get one more question, I'll answer that. If I don't see any more questions in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and close the show out. But shout out to the Titans fans that are looking, that are watching the show on the Bleacher Report. And if you're new to Tennessee Titans Weekly, man, hey, shout out to my co-host Hawk, who is not here tonight because he is actually at the game. So shout out to him. He's over there doing some intel for us. Shout out to him. But if you are not following us on Twitter, please follow us on Twitter. It's at Titans Weekly 24/7. And then even on YouTube, man, hit us up and check us out on Tennessee Titans Weekly on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on every little platform that you can think of. We're very diversified with our material. So let me see. Red Ninja threw a question. He said, who do you think we should draft for our first-round pick? Great question, Red Ninja. So I like Alt from Notre Dame, but I'm hoping the offensive line starts to pick it up and we can kind of look at our future left tackle and Duncan. But I still think you need a left tackle to where you put it out there. But for tonight's game, what I was able to see is they did pretty decent. I'm going to do this. I'm going to answer this like this, Red Ninja. My wish list is a receiver. All right? And I'm going to give you some names. I know with the win tonight, I don't think we will have an opportunity at Marvin Harrison Jr. I just don't think so. We'll have to probably lose the rest of our games. But to win tonight, I know we were number 6 in the draft structure, and I think that's going to bump us down just a little bit. So, hold on. Give me 1 minute here. I'm gonna give you my guy from LSU. So like I said, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. That's my wish, right? You got the kid Ron from Washington, but I like the kid from LSU, Malik Neighbors, and we will have a shot to get Malik Neighbors if we are in the top 10. Malik is dope. You know, Daniels just won the Heisman, and that's his quarterback. And I think if you can bring Malik in here, man, to have a 1-2 punch with D-Hop and Malik, man, that'll be amazing. But my gut's telling me that we're going to get a left tackle, man. It's just you want to build that structure in the middle and build that lineup to where when you do it, we'll be okay. Will could have enough time to go through his progressions and everything. Now, I see Kevin says if we win the rest of our games, we still make the playoffs. Now, we are mathematically still in contention. And I honestly, the way they played tonight, if they can play the way they played tonight, I'm being optimistic, but I think they can. I think in the division, The Colts are starting to show their true face. The Texans, we still got CJ Stroud, so you don't know. So we haven't played them. We played them Sunday, so that's gonna be a real I really have to see that. The Jacksonville Jaguars, we owe them one. I still think the Jags are okay in my opinion, but I don't think they're world beaters. We would literally have to win out and a wing and a prayer, and hopefully some other teams lose. But we still mathematically, we're still in the hunt. We're still in the hunt. So, yeah. But, yeah, Red Ninja, just to say my wish list is a receiver. My gut's telling me we're going left tackle. What about y'all? Y'all think what do y'all want to draft? And I'll probably go maybe 2 more minutes, and then we'll get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Great question. Great question. And, again, I know it's a late game. So, most definitely, let's see here. All right. So, yeah, and I just threw a poll. We do have the polls out there. So, if you're just popping on to the show, man, hey, go ahead and run through them polls, man. I got one. How did the offensive line perform? I see right now 60% people saying good. 40% are saying so-so. How did it grade the defense? 80% of people are saying an A, and 20% are saying a B. So, shout out to that. And I actually threw a poll out there. How would you grade the quarterback? Would you give Will Levis an A, B, C, or D's? 100% are saying A. And I don't see any percentage of saying otherwise. So, again, I'll give Will Levis an A. So, yep, I see you, Ray. He said, my wish list is also Marvin Harrison Smith. I don't think we get it. All lines, yep. I agree. Now, we do have $100 million. So, I will say that I've seen the list of free agents this year with O-linemen. So, I don't think it's really a good list. But you never know, right? My wish list is to go through free agency to get a lineman, but we'll see. But my ultimate wish list is Duncan to progress and him to develop. If Duncan can develop into a good, decent left tackle, we cool. Again, I think the offensive line did pretty decent tonight. I think they did a decent job. So shout out to the Titans. But let me see. Kevin C says, do you think week 18 will be Derrick Henry? Ooh, great question, Kevin. Man, yes, I do. I believe the Titans are going in a different direction when it comes to the offensive scheme. And I'm with you, Red. I hope not either. But I think they're going in a different direction. And you've seen it tonight. You're seeing more of those receiving backs. And Tyjae Spears, he can catch and he can run. So he kind of reminds you of how – I'm not calling him Christian McCaffrey, but how they run their offense in San Francisco. Remember, Red Carthon came from San Francisco. So if he has a speedster and he has a bruiser, almost a finesse bruiser, he got it. So I think it will be his last game in Week 18. Now, if the Titans really wanted to, and if Derrick's okay with it, taking a limited role just to stay with the team, I'm okay with that. You sign him to a 2-year deal, let him come back. And let Tyjae be the focal point, and he'll be the premier back, and Derrick be the secondary. I'm cool with that too. Just because I want Derrick to retire as a Titan, and I understand he has to get his money, and you want to go to a contender to win the Super Bowl. So, but yep, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, Kevin. You got to be thankful for what we've had, what we've been able to see, and what we've been able to witness from the greatness of Derrick Henry, who's going to be a future Hall of Famer. People can debate me all day, but he will be a future Hall of Famer. So. Yep, so most definitely, man. So, but anyway, people, I'm going to go ahead and get us up out of here, wrap this thing up. Again, shout out to the Tennessee Titans for getting a victory in Miami, our first road win, 28-27. Shout out to Mike Vrabel. Shout out to Will Levis. Shout out to the whole squad for playing a complete game. And let's get out of here. Let me see. He said no more run scheme. Hey, Rail, I agree with you. I believe that the run scheme is out the door, and I think it's going to be out the door. So most definitely, man, most definitely. But I appreciate y'all again. Thank you, Bleacher Report, for giving us the opportunity. Again, my co-host, he's in Miami, living it up, doing his thing, and he's well deserved. So if you're watching the show, Hawk, shout out to you, bro. And Hawk will be probably back tomorrow. But yeah, so. Again, man, if y'all want to follow us on Bleacher Report, mine is Jacques Merle on Bleacher Report, and I think it's Hawk on Bleacher Report. So check us out on YouTube at Tennessee Titans Weekly, Check us out on Twitter at Tennessee Titans Weekly 24/7. We're on Spotify, every little platform that you can name, we're on. So just to bring that content. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hey, great win. Let's get to Houston. Let's try to get this Houston win and tighten up, baby. And hey, y'all have a good night and be safe out there. Peace.